G'day folks, welcome to this playthrough of Introductory Scenario number 4 to the Sea. We're starting to use some bigger maps. This one uses the 21st Panzer scenario map. We're done with the beach overlays. This takes place on the evening of the 6th of June. It's only a two-turn scenario from 1700 to 1900. Well, it's only two turns. It's a big map. There's a lot going on. Let's get into it and see how it plays out. Okay, so here we have the setup for this introductory scenario number 4 to the sea. So the Allies have secured the beaches, and later in the day, on the 6th of June, this takes place around 5 p.m. They're looking, this is the 3rd Infantry Division here, are looking to advance on Caen, whilst also linking the beaches together. So they're trying to sort of clear these linking roads and still clear the Widerstand nest and some of these key German defences that you can see here. This is the water tower battery here. And this is a strong point observation post with another, strong point hillman. And as they've advanced, they've encountered the 21st Panzer Division in black here, with elements from the 716th along the coast down here. And it's really the Germans who have the initiative here. The scenario gives them the choice. Gives the Germans a choice of either recapturing Pegasus Bridge down here, or clearing and holding on to and prevent the clearing of this red road that runs along the coast. And they choose one of these objectives, and they reveal this at the start of the second turn. Now, it's a bit hard to do that playing solo. I'm going to tell you my German plans straight off the bat. It's going to be quite hard to recapture Pegasus Bridge. This is where the bulk of the British forces are in this area, and I think it would be pretty easy for them to sort of sweep around here and block this road and contest this. Holding just one hex of this road, however, seems to be much easier. So the German plan is to sweep around the left here using this main road, secure on their way Mathieu, Plumetot, hold on to Cresseron, and then try and link up with Widerstand Trout in Lyon-sur-Mer if it still stands by the time they get there. Keep in mind, this is some fast-moving armoured units. Even the infantry, we've got mechanised infantry. So my thinking is rush down this road, hold on to some of these hold the line basically, and prevent the Allies from breaking through. And that then places the pressure on the Allies to recapture this road. They need to the Allies need to have, I think, this road here clear. I think they have to have the whole road clear. Interdict connecting road, have a unit or minefield on any hex of that connecting road. Any hex at all, from 3509 to 4505. So they start basically with this secure. They could also have hillmen still on the board, this strong point here. But I don't like the odds of them being able to hold that. So that's their plan, to kind of pull back away from Biville-sur-Seine and sweep around. And see what happens. Now this will become almost immediately obvious because they get to choose their first activation chit, and they're going to choose Camp Roche. So these red units with their independent units are going to almost immediately sweep around. They're not even going to feint towards Pegasus Bridge. It's only a two-turn scenario, and my thinking is if they feint, it's wasting a lot of time. They're not going to get many activations. At the same time, by holding on to that, the Allies will not get many activations to clear that. So it's very different to the beach landings. A lot of open movement using these roads, moving these mechanised units quite quickly. The 3rd Division does have the support of the 27th Armoured Brigade. You can see scatterings of them throughout. Yes, let's get it going and see how we go. Okay, here's a quick update of the situation midway through that first turn, the 1700 turn. So as you can see, according to plan, the Kampfgruppe Roche is moving around the left here, keeping most of these red units together. They are taking a few of those independent units with them. So they took an armoured unit up here somewhere. Before they moved, of course, they placed a few of the key allied armoured units under a barrage. And they're also ensuring they hold the line. They don't let the allies sort of break through along here. So, as I mentioned, they've occupied Plumelot here, Cresserons here, and a few other key locations. Then, immediately afterwards, Kampfgruppe Oppeln activated, and threatening the 185th Brigade of that 3rd Allied Division in the centre here. They also decided to threaten Pegasus Bridge. So they've shifted around to the right here. You can see there's units moving. These are the reinforcements, actually. Trying to capture Beauville in the centre and just threaten this whole 185th Brigade's position. The idea here, I guess, there's a big gap here, but the idea here is that if the Allies move all their forces out here, Kampfgruppe Oppeln can strike from the southeast east. It's also a bit of a nice morale boost if they can recapture Pegasus Bridge. And then we had the 8th Brigade activate, and they can't do much. They've tried to, they've moved some key forces up here to some independent units to try to address what the Germans have done, trying to capture this strong point here and try to destroy this strong point here. They suppressed it, caused a cohesion hit, it's almost gone. But midway through the turn, the Germans now hold the west side of Lyon-sur-Mer with some strong armoured units. And just looking at it right now, I don't know how the Allies are going to kick them out of the city within 2 turns. Not only just kick them out of the city, but occupy this entire road, including destroying this Wittgenstein nest out here. With all these additional armoured and infantry and other units moving up the road to reinforce it, it just seems an insurmountable task for the Allies. Anyway, we'll see how things go. Okay, well here we have the situation at the end of that 1700 turn, the first turn of this 2-turn scenario, and a string of Allied activations has really given them some hope. I'll show you the activation order down here in the bottom left corner. It started with those 2 3rd Infantry Division activations. Not much those units can do. What really happened? Okay, so the 185th came around here to protect this flank. They're holding in the centre here, not much happening. And trying to pull back their independent units to help out over here. Then, before that, the 8th Brigade, Red, just again trying to attack here. I think I mentioned that earlier. We had the division activation, a poor roll, didn't give them many command points, so they're really restricted there. Then the 21st Panzer Division had their division activation. They rolled really well for command points, that up to 19 command points at one stage. And they're just shifting more of these forces. They were shifting around here through de Livronde to the back of Lyon-sur-Mer using these back roads. It was really, actually it was only the last activation. So we had the Royal Marines who tried to assault here. They didn't do too well. They actually suffered some casualties. You can see Royal Marine up here and some cohesion hits and so forth. The naval chip came out and the naval barrage didn't do much. I think it managed to destroy the Wittgenstein nest through cohesion hits piling up. So that nest is gone. There's just a minefield there now. We had finally, the final activation was the 27th Armoured Brigade, and this is where the Allies finally hit back. It started off really slow, a couple of armoured units moving up in here and not causing any damage. You can see the German infantry remaining pretty healthy here. It was when things got desperate, I'm like sending more and more armoured units in, that they finally begin to cause some casualties, some step losses. So we had two big hits on 21st Panzer Division armoured units. These two up here, I'm not sure what type of units they are, but they were both based. Actually, I think they were in. I'm not sure where that heavy barrage marker. I think that may have been a bit. It may have been there. It'll go away in a moment anyway. But they had to get right adjacent, or very close at least. Scored some elimination hits on one of them. And then I think one of them was a one-stepper. Yeah, so that was a one hit on that one. So this one was eliminated. Oops, throwing my units around. Two-step unit that was instantly... Sorry, wrong one. There we go. Two-step unit that was instantly eliminated. And then we had a one-step hit on that unit, which also eliminated it, which then enabled additional armoured units to race through. So you can see over here we have a pretty strong... I'm not sure what that is. Anti-tank gun moving right behind this German unit here. They managed to move through. Actually, I think they risked opportunity fire to get in there. Another unit moving up here. I can't see what that is either, sorry. Trying to block the Germans moving through. And then we had finally this unit here. 5 RMASG. One of the organic artilleries moving through to occupy part of the Livronde to try to stop those 21st Panzer units pushing through to the beach. And I think they're going to be pretty successful holding that position here. It's going to create opportunity fire for any German units moving along this road or this road. These units here can opportunity fire in this whole area around here. So just the presence of these armoured units here, although they came out late in the turn, they're going to stop any more German units making their way to the beach. Keep in mind, the Germans just need to occupy one part of this red road. So with 1 hour, or with one turn to go, the 1900 turn, the Allies need to destroy this unit here. There's a armoured German 21st Panzer Division armoured unit under there. They need to wipe out this Wittgenstein nest, one-stepper, and they need to wipe out that infantry, Panzer infantry. They rush down there really fast, mounted up, mechanised infantry, I think, and race down really quickly where the others are lagging behind a bit further. They should have done the same thing, really, in hindsight. So yes, the Allies have cut off that the German drive to the beach. Now they just need to clear out those units holding that beach road before the end of the coming turn. What else has been happening? So pretty quiet over on the right here. Yeah, nothing really the Allies could do in those final few activations anywhere around here. A couple of little pot shots here and there, but no serious damage. Yeah, that's it. So that is the end of the 1700 turn. We have the final turn coming up shortly. All right, here's the board at the end of the final turn, the 1900 turn, but let's really zoom down to where most of the activity was happening up here along the beach. So the big story here is that 3rd Division struggled for command points throughout the scenario. They rolled poorly. On their first roll, they rolled a 3, which gave them 1 plus 5. Their command rating is 6 command points. On the second roll, they rolled a 3 again for another 6. That just was not enough to follow through with the secondary actions they needed. To make matters worse, they only gained those 6 command points on the final chit draw of the scenario. So throughout all of that final turn, 3rd Division had pretty much 0 command points as they burned through that initial 6. Whereas the 21st Panzer Division had really good rolls, plus a command rating of 10, which gives them a bonus 10 to half of whatever they roll. The situation is that, as we've covered, the 21st Panzer elements rush down here to occupy some of these main road hexes. This hex here, we can see just behind this stack, is one of those heavily armoured units, 3-1 Panzer 22. It's in an open terrain, clear terrain, boldly blocking that main route. This Wittgenstein nest here, just to the left, held up 2 cohesion hits, one more and they'd be eliminated. Allies finally managed to clear out the defenders here. Their engineers were working very hard around this area. I think they've cleared out all but one of those minefields. So, yeah, all but one of the minefields are gone. Again, the problem was I just didn't have the command points to activate those engineers on, for example, direct command or division activation to move them into the minefields to then, on a subsequent activation, clear the minefields. The 27th Armoured started off really well and they blasted through and cleared this gap, but on the final turn they rolled terribly. Step losses and cohesion hits are starting to pile up, which is affecting their rolls, but they made very little progress on that final turn. And so, because the Germans set this as their objective, because they've succeeded in blocking that road, they win this scenario. They have prevented the Allies from opening this coastal road to in their broader attempt to link up the beaches, very, very, very narrowly. Perhaps equally importantly, in the broader scheme of things, the Germans, this counterattack has halted the Allied drive towards Caen as they've had to pull back this is the 27th Armoured, they're basically on the beaches. This is Lyon-sur-Mer and the landing area up here, Ouistreham. So they've really stopped their attack and their advance to deal with this counterattack up in the northwest. As you can see, a lot of barrage markers, a lot of artillery. I think that these are German barrage markers, maybe a mix, but it inadvertently blocked line of sight and enabled the Germans to move 1 or 2 reinforcements. The 21st Panzer did suffer some heavy casualties on that final turn. There were a few select rolls by certain units, which caused a few eliminations and step losses. Out towards Pegasus Bridge, if I can just bring this back a bit, nothing really happened. So the Germans are pretty happy they didn't set this as their objective. Fair enough, they only sent sort of the one half of a brigade out here, Kampfgruppe, but they made no progress at all. Suffered a cohesion hit, struggled to get through. This road is quite difficult. It's wooded terrain, they've got to get into column to get through it. Mounted units and tracked units. Then they have to dismount, and it's open terrain, so they're vulnerable to any ranged units in the area. So very little progress was made out there. The 2 strong points held. Not a lot of effort was put into those. Just infantry chipping away. One here, the strong point, and I think this is the water tower battery and a strong point, but yeah, very little progress. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. There were some cohesion hits, I'm sure. 1 cohesion hit there, and these guys were suppressed with a cohesion hit, so 1 more hit over there would have eliminated them as well. But as I said, most of the sort of artillery armoured focus became quite quickly over in this area of the board, up in the northwest. So that was a very different scenario, very interesting. A lot of movement, a lot of artillery, a lot of checking lines of sight. This is still an introductory scenario, but a very interesting one. A lot of back and forth over the course of just 2 turns, the 1700 and the 1900 turn. Ultimately, it ends with a very, very narrow German victory. I should also make a note, the commanders did very little. I did forget to bring them on at the end of the first turn, so I fixed it up and brought them on, made a small correction. But then they activated second last and just could not, as I said, did a few key units to that Wittgenstein nest, but could not break it. The naval chip came out twice, of course, and naval fire was useless, it's fair to say, placing a few barrage markers, but as you can see, a light barrage and a light barrage. A lot of those naval units failed their company bonus. Yeah, there you go. It's a fascinating scenario. It's very good. I think you get a good sense of the openness of how GTS can be, with units kind of taking advantage of these roads, the importance of artillery. It's very interesting to play through. Hope you've enjoyed it.